Welcome to the Just Another Moment podcast. This is episode 7 and I am hosting a wonderful person, a friend that I have known now for just over a year, and I have met up with her for the first time in Morocco on the Mindful Expeditions and Just Another Moment Moroccan adventure. And then we met up again in Vietnam, and this podcast goes through a lot. It talks about her going through big chapters in her life and leaving the past behind and moving into adulthood post-university. She tells the story of her trip to Thailand, and ultimately she is promoting her community group on the school platform. So welcome, Anja, to the podcast, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, Anja, how are you?
Hello, I'm great.
That's good. Good. Thank you so much for joining the Just Another Moment podcast. It's probably a year since I was like, yeah, let's do a podcast, and then never did. So a year later, I'm back in Australia and you're back home. And yeah, like, super cool to have you. And I'm really looking forward to digging in a little bit about you, your life, your travel experiences, and what is happening next. Like, what's the next steps for you? So yeah, we'll get started. It's like Easter long weekend, which is awesome. But I guess one thing we'll get started with is, obviously, we connected through school, joining the Fuck It Lister community. And from there, we've had like some pretty cool shared experiences when we went to Morocco, and obviously met up again in Vietnam. And yeah, I'd like to just hear a little bit about your experience in the community, and like how that's shaped your life over the last year or 18 months or so. And then yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is my first podcast where I'm a guest, so I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's a pleasure, and I think we're what episode are we? We're I think episode 6, maybe 7 now.
Nice.
I have to check. So yeah, no, it's really cool. So how has your last year, 18 months been? You mentioned before that currently you're going through a transition period from finishing off your university and going into that, stepping into being a real adult as such. But yeah, how has the Fuck It Lister community sort of shaped your direction?
Yeah, so my situation has been, for the past 6 years or 7 years, almost the same. I'm a uni student. I'm studying veterinary medicine. So these 7 years have been almost the same. And then last year I came up, more than a year ago, I stumbled upon the Fuck It list, and I immediately liked it because it was a tool that I can use to see all the goals I wanted to do in my life and actually go for them. Because I was very miserable all these 7 years. It was very difficult to be in college for me. Lots of studying, no time for myself, no free time. And behind that suffering, I was always wishing for more in life, for more experiences, for all the dreams. And Fuck It List just gave me a chance to write all of this down, to see it clearly, and to actually make me take an action on them, on all the goals. So it completely changed my life. The last year has been very different from the past 6 years, and I found a new perspective on my life and how I want to do things from now on. So lots of value there.
Yeah, no, and I think it's such a simple tool, isn't it? Really, building 100 before you die dreams, and
Yes.
And then doing it in 4 years, and it really does push you to try new things, learn new things, go experience new things because you only have that 4-year deadline. And you know, the way I look at it is you go from just existing in life to actually living a life and living
Yeah.
a life you enjoy. So what, like you mentioned that you've, you know, for the past 7 years or 6 years, you've sort of been struggling. Like what has that struggle come from? Is it like not really knowing what you want
Yeah.
to do, where you want to go? Or yeah, can you?
Yeah, I'm that kind of person that I really like a lot of things. Mm, like so many things. I'm interested in so many experiences and countries and hobbies. I want to do everything. So what I was at is I was very lost. And all the people were saying, well, you have to choose something. You have to go into one direction. But what Bucket List does is like you can write everything you want to do and then actually go for it. So I was from being lost to being like, okay, just focus on this goal first, the second one, third one, try it. If you don't like it, then you know you don't like it and go for something else. Before I was just lost and I didn't know what to do. So that really helped me.
Mm, yeah. And like it is one of those things, like, you know, you finish school or high school, and then it is that thing like societal pressure, and I felt it myself as well. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to study at university? And I was like, I don't want to go to university. Like, so I just didn't. But then it was like, well, what job are you going to get? Like, what are you going to do with your life? And I was like, I don't know. I never thought about this. I like kicking balls and, you know, playing football and like running around in the garden. Like, I don't know. And it is one of those like real challenging things. So like with uni, you said you're studying like veterinary. Is it like veterinary science or just like being a vet?
Veterinary medicine, yeah.
Yeah. So veterinary medicine. And so is that something that you wanted to do? Or is that more something that you got like pushed towards?
So like you said, when you're a kid, you don't know what you want to do. And it was the same for me. When I was in high school, I didn't know what to do. I just focused on studying. That was my life, basically. I
Mm,
was studying for these exams, for the final exams, and that was it. I didn't think about what do I want my life to be. I don't think a person who is 16, 17, 18 years old can know what they want to do with their life.
yeah.
It, especially if they have to focus on school like 24/7. So when the moment came when I had to decide whether to go to university or not, I mean, that wasn't even a question. It was like, obviously, you go to university. What else are you going to do? You can't do a lot of things with high school education. So, because of my parents, they're both also vets. So, that's the only example I had. Plus, I loved animals. I love animals. So, I was just like, okay, it's a logical choice to sign up for that university. And I
Yeah.
did. But then I found out I don't actually maybe like it.
Mm,
I never asked myself, what do I want?
yeah.
What's the thing that I want?
Yeah, and it's such a tough thing to like realize along that way. You know, like for me, I very similar to you. I followed the example of my dad, who owned a finance company. So I
Hmm.
went straight into that, and then 11 years later, I was still working in finance, and I was like, I didn't even want to do this. This is just the only thing I knew how to do, and like it's the
Hmm.
only sort of experience I had. Um, and then, you know, I went to uni and I studied business and stuff like that. But at that point, I was like, well, what do I even transition to? Like, what do I do? And yeah, it's one of those like really tough things. So you've said like what, you're 6 years into that degree now. You're nearly finished.
Yes, I'm finished in 2 months. I'm gonna finish the uni.
Yeah, amazing. That's really
Yeah.
cool. And so coming out of that now, like, you know, you didn't really know what you wanted to do 6 years ago. You were about to finish uni in the next couple of months. But in the last year, you've gone from being a little bit lost to now sort of knowing what you want to do or what you want to chase at least.
Hmm.
Has that shifted for you what you're going to be doing post university?
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes, for sure. I feel like in the first few years, the only thing I wanted was to have a break, a summer break. So that was my only goal in life. I was always trying to do the exams as fast as possible so I could have a summer break, 3 months of summer break. And I never did it. Never. I never had any vacation the first 4 years because I always failed my exams. So in my head, that was the only thing I wanted, this freedom solution, take a little bit of time off, and I could never do that. So I really struggled. And then the fourth year of my uni was kind of okay because I finished earlier and I had about 2 months of vacation. And that was good. But the last year and this year, it's different because it's not anymore, okay, you have a 3 months vacation and then you're safe because you're not going to school again. It's finished.
Mm.
And that really scared me when this year started. I realized, oh shit, now I'm actually gonna finish it. It's gonna be over with that. And I don't want to start working in this field. So at the start of the year, I was even more lost than before. But because of Fucket List, I kind of knew what I had to do to actually make it true. So it completely changed my perspective, and my mindset shifted because I realized what I have to do. I have to find an online job, which is something that I have never been studying for, taught for. I know no one who has it. So I have to figure it out on my own.
Mm.
And it's really scary, but also exciting. And it's also a way out for me. That's why I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah. No, and so it is so good because I think like the way the education system is designed is, it's very structured. So you have your year, you have your holiday, you go back to school, have a holiday, go back to school, Christmas break, whatever, and so on. And the same thing with uni. So you've always had this structure, and then
Yeah.
when that structure ends, you go, oh, what do I do now? Like, and when you realize like that if you get stuck in something, like you actually get stuck doing a job where you only, you're working 48 weeks to maybe get 4 weeks off, and that's Australia, but other countries might be a little bit more, 6 weeks off, and other countries are less, like 2 weeks off. And do I really want to like be working all of this time to only get like 2 weeks, like, and that's that shift for me. And it sounds like that's a similar shift for you as well, where now you go, okay, I actually want to live my life. I want to experience things. I want to explore. I want to, learn new things. And I think that's like so powerful to be able to, take control of your life and direct it the way that you want. So how do you feel now? Like you're 2 months away from finishing uni. How are you feeling now? Like stepping into that. Like, is that exciting? Like you mentioned, it's a little bit exciting, a little bit scary, but like, where are you at with that?
Yeah, it's both. It's exciting and scary. It's exciting because if I make it, then I'm actually going to be able to do the things I want to do and experience the things I want to experience. And I won't have to go to the place where I don't want to go, which is like a regular veterinary job, right? But I have a little safe option because after my college, I can also take, it's called Absolvent, which is basically you can take a gap year. All the students can take a gap year after school to finish the final exams and to do the practicals. So it's kind of like a safety break for me, 1 year. But I don't feel like this is gonna be a break for me. It represents a year for me, a time for me to make it or break it.
Yeah.
It's a year for me where I have to do it. I have to do something about my situation. I have to become independent to be able to then start living my real adult life without being a student anymore. So
Yeah.
really scary, but I just focused on the question, what if I actually pull it off and make it happen? That's like the most important thing in my life right now.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And so, what if you do actually make it happen? Like, if you make it happen, what does your life look like?
So when I make it happen,
No
when
way.
I make it happen, I am gonna do my bucket list. That's what I'm gonna do, because those are all the things I want to see, experience, become, do, make. Um, so this is how my life is gonna look like until 2028. That's my deadline for the bucket list. And yeah, just lots of traveling, lots of creating new stuff, doing content. I'm trying to build like a personal brand, or I'm just trying to show people how to get to their goals. And that's what I want to do with my life after this year ends.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And what's I really actually love, help other people get to their goals. That's very much aligned to where I'm at. In the mental health space, is helping people get equipped with the tools and the resources so they can look after their mental health by practicing mental fitness. So, the fitter you are mentally, the less likely, hopefully, you are of like struggling with mental health challenges, and helping people through that is really important for me. And so for you, helping people achieve their goals, achieve their dreams,
Mhm.
really important, because ultimately if you can help people with that, then that also helps you, right?
Yes, I mean, you have a story, like your own personal story, how you overcome those challenges, mental challenges. And I think that's the most powerful thing you can do for other people now, because you've already gone through it.
Mm,
So for me, it's like I have to go through it. I have to finish my bucket list to show other people that it is possible. And that's where you can actually influence people. So that's
yeah.
how I want to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think like with each item of that bucket list that you have as well, each each thing you tick off is a story to tell, right? It's like,
And lessons
yeah,
to learned.
yeah, absolutely. And I think like having that is like really important. If you've got a story to share, a story can inspire someone else. And if you've got lessons that you've learned, you can teach someone else. So you can inspire and teach other people whilst you're still going through. So you've, I think I saw a little while ago, you've now completed like 20% of your bucket list. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. So from the 20, yeah, my math brain, I was like, so from the 20 that you've completed, what's the biggest like one that you've done where you've gone, yes, this is awesome, this can inspire someone? And then secondly, what is the one that you've learned the biggest lesson from?
Hmm. That's a very good question. So the biggest one I've done that can have influence on other people. Whew. Mm, I think the ones that I struggled the most and the ones that made me a better person. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the item. The item was to have a 3 months vacation. So now you already know from my story that I wanted this for 5 years and I couldn't get to it, right?
Yeah.
But now that I knew about the bucket list system, I actually did it. I actually had 3 months vacation last summer. So from that one, I learned a lot of lessons, which are like I had to be so disciplined and consistent with my actions towards that goal that I actually made it. So yeah, that was the biggest thing, because 5 years I couldn't do it, and then bam, one thing, one system that worked for me, and I did it. So for me personally, that was the biggest achievement of all of the things that I've done. And what was the other one? The one thing that
Yeah, the biggest lesson and the biggest inspiration.
the biggest lesson, it's not going to be something you probably want to hear or like, but all of the things that I did cross off were not how I imagined that they're gonna be,
Mm.
like at all. And some of them, most of them, I didn't even like. When I completed them, I didn't like them. I was like, really, this is it?
Yeah.
I don't like it. So this humility that comes with it, or this image you have in your head when you write it down, like, oh, I'm gonna ride motorbikes in Vietnam, and you have this movie even in your head how it's
Mm.
gonna be, and then it's not like that, and you're like, oh shit, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
It kind of like crushes your dreams,
Mm.
and you're like, whoa, is this gonna be with every item? And probably the answer is yes. So
That's interesting actually. Like, so do you think with the goals and the dreams that you've had like an expectation going into it?
oh yes, so much expectation, so much ego with all the goals that I have written down.
Yeah. And
And
so
then when you actually start doing it, it like crushes all of that. It's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah. And I think like from my experience, like in the past, I've had, I've achieved things I've wanted to, and then I've gone, oh, you sort of like, it's this build up, right? It's like you're building up, you're climbing the mountain, you get to the top and you go, I've done that. And then you get back down and you go, ah, what's next?
Yep,
Like now I've
yep,
done it. And that was like a huge thing. And like for my own mental health, I've always struggled the most with mental health when I've just achieved something or I've just done something where I've gone, that was a challenge to get to and I've done it now. Because then
yeah,
I go, well, what's the point? Like what's next? I am one of those people that chases goals, and once I achieve a target, I go, okay, well, that's done. What's the next thing? Like I can't just sit in that enjoy, like I can't just sit and celebrate and enjoy that moment, and that's one thing I've been really trying hard to
mhm,
now is, first of all, let go of any expectations. Just, sometimes it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
yes,
um, and then the other thing is just, yeah, really just sitting in that moment and being like,
yeah,
man, look what I've done, you know
yeah.
like
That's the goal. The goal is the journey.
yeah.
Um, that's it. And do how you do things, how you do life, how you approach your challenges, whether they are dreams or they are actually problems or challenges you have in life.
Mm.
That's the main point. You have to learn how to enjoy it, even though it's not how you expect it, even
Yeah.
though it's different.
Yeah.
Because life is like that, it's always different. You can never control it. So just like embrace the fact that you can't control anything. And but it's very hard to do that. It's so easy to say it, but when you actually do it and you see that it sucks, it fucks up with your mind a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely I've definitely had that, where you go, oh yeah, like if I just appreciate this moment and stuff, like it will be easier, and then you go, yeah, but it sort of sucked, like like
Yeah,
when like Morocco, for example, like obviously we climbed Mount Tubacal together, and
yeah.
getting to the top was, it was great. You I don't know how, but you just glided to the top, no issues, no problems, and here I am with my old legs and knees and everything else, like a headache from altitude, like dying.
Yeah, but
But
like imagine even this goal, like if you tell someone the dream outcome, oh, I climbed the second highest mountain in Africa, the highest mountain in North Africa. How does this sound? And they're like, wow, that's amazing. Oh
mm,
my gosh, what is that like? And then you know the reality. You're struggling, you're breathing, you're almost vomiting, and the nature is not even so beautiful, and it's not clouds and sunshine and whatever, and you're like sweating and you're cold. That's the reality.
yeah.
And it sucks. But actually, after you do it, when you look back, you are proud, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because it's a test, and it's
It's a,
the same thing with Kilimanjaro because you've done that as well. And
yeah.
again, you said Kilimanjaro is easy, and here I am being like, that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, yeah. I
um,
mean, but that's why I live for, like, now I know that it's not about these goals. It's just about how you got there and the fact that you can say that you did them. I want to
yes,
be I want to be on my deathbed and said, like, all of these things, I've done this
yeah,
and it sucked, but I did them. That's what
yes,
I want.
yeah, that's cool. So like, yeah, on like my gravestone, it would be like everything that I achieved. This is none of this in loving memory of, just like Arthur is a
Yeah.
boss. um,
These are
but yeah,
my 10 bucket lists I accomplished.
yeah. No, I mean it's such a good way to live though, and it's like what Jesse Itzler says as
Yeah.
well with if you're doing, if you do one, I think it's like if you do one thing every, one major thing a month, one
Mhm.
big thing a year, and then you learn like a new skill every 6 weeks. At the
Yeah.
end of each year, you've now done one life-changing thing. You've done 12 new experiences and you've learned 6 new skills or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a good way to like sort of approach that life,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's like really, really awesome. So like obviously we talked a little bit about Morocco, you've talked a little bit about Kilimanjaro, and like obviously the journeys are probably more the lesson than the actual destination. That's what I have found literally with everything. Sometimes the destination you just go, this is magical. But it is a journey to get there, and there's lessons even within that as well. Like for you with your travels, you said after 5 years of wanting a 3 month break, you just didn't have it, and then all of a sudden you created that possibility for yourself. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about those 3 months.
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that because that goal was the most disappointing one. I thought it was gonna be the the best one for me, but it was the most disappointing one because I had all this free time, but I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, that's the problem. It wasn't the problem that I had to study all these years and that I didn't have any time. The problem was that I didn't know what to do with myself. So these 3 months were there were good days, but most of the time I was just asking myself, okay, but what the fuck do I want to do actually?
Mm.
Do I want to go on trip? And then I went on the trip and it didn't feel good. Um, I don't know, just the whole 3 months were faced with reality because I did have the time for the first time to be with my thoughts and to be with myself. And then I realized, oh, I don't even know myself. I don't even know what I want to do.
Mm.
So that was really like not a good feeling to have,
Yeah.
but necessary.
100%. It's like it's one of those things that kind of sucks to feel. Like you go, I don't know who I am. I don't know like what I'm meant to do and all of that. But at the same time, like learning that is super valuable as well.
Yeah.
It is like a guide, like it guides you. And I remember, you know, after my marriage ended, I remember just being like, what is like, why am I here? What am I meant to do? And I never really sat with myself and like really thought. I just thought I had to be a good husband, make money, contribute and whatnot. But when that ended, I was like, it's like losing that relationship was like I'd lost my entire purpose in life as well. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know even what to do with myself. And
Hmm.
that's the cliche like, oh, travel, I'm gonna go find myself through travel and stuff like that. It was never that. I was actually just like running away from like my pain, running away from my problems. But through that, and particularly in Tanzania, where I had those like 6 weeks I did a road trip and climbed Kili and stuff. I actually just like had like a really good solid month just to sit with myself with not much to do, and I was able to journal. I was able to write letters to people. I was able to do like little private video logs to myself, and through
Mhm.
that process I was able to start to learn to understand myself better. um, and so like I wonder for you, after those 3 months of like travel where you've like discovered, you go, oh, it's not the 3 months I wanted. It's actually the direction in life that I want to understand. Like
Yes.
how, since you've done that, how has that shaped you? And like, has there been any like sort of revelations for you to guide you, or you're still searching for that?
It was like, who do I want to be? How do I want to spend my time? How do I actually want to spend my life, the free time I have? What do I actually want to do? That was the process of me. And the thing that I remember was, I still want to get out of this place, stop this life here,
Mm,
and take a distance out of it. Like you said, like cliche traveling. Yeah, it's true. It's some kind of a cliche because you are running away from your life, but it can help a lot of people because the place where you live, it kind of defines who you are. People around you define the roles you play, define you, but it's not you. And
mm,
that's why you try to run away. You actually try to find yourself, and traveling helps with that because you distance yourself. So right now, for me, it's still this thing that I just want to get out of this life that I'm living here. I want to see how it is to live by myself or to live with other people, to live in other country. I want to see how it's to travel alone and to be away from all these roles that I have here, all these labels that people are putting on me.
mm,
Because here I have to be a daughter, a sister, a friend, um, a very good student. And I want to see what is life without those labels. Who am I? What do I want to actually do? How do I want to spend my day, my time? With who do I want to surround myself? So that's where I'm kind of at, and that's what I'm gonna do. Um, but yeah, the more I work on myself, on my goals, the more I get, and the more I do difficult things for myself, the more I see what I'm capable of and who I am and what I actually can do. So that really helps. Those hard challenges, running every day, um, pushing myself to do a pull up, pushing myself to try new things, pushing myself out of my comfort zone every day. That's how I get in touch with those feelings. I'm still not there, and I think I will never be there like 100%. I think no one is. Everybody is always searching themselves all over and again. But at least now I know how to get to that place. And if I'm away from here, maybe I found a bigger picture for me, if that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's like you remove yourself from like from where is comfortable. So you take yourself out from something that's comfortable, but you know you don't like it. You maybe not feel like you fit in that space, and you're
Mhm.
going out into something like more, which is scary. But it's kind of like I did like a little 2 day workshop last weekend, and one of the coolest like things I just picked up, it was just like one phrase. It was like, if you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, if you're feeling a little bit of fear, if you're feeling a little bit anxious, it's not you're anxious, and it's not that you're scared, and it's not that you're like uncomfortable. It's just that you're expanding. And it's just
Mhm.
like reframing that from like those negative sort of words, those negative feelings, to a
Yeah.
place of, oh, this feeling isn't like
Right.
that anxiety. It's actually me growing, it's me expanding, it's me like learning new things and stuff. And that's like where you're at right now, is like you're doing the uncomfortable things, you're like testing yourself, you're pushing yourself, and like that is just leading all to expansion, like if you
Yes.
didn't have the 3 months off, you wouldn't have, realized that that isn't actually the goal for you. Like the goal for you is a higher purpose. The goal for you is like much more than that. And then from that, you go, okay, well, now I have all these new challenges that I have to face to continue to push that barrier. And you're exactly right as well, where you said, I don't think I'm there yet, and I don't think I'll ever be there. It's like a pursuit for everyone. I think,
Yeah.
there's people that will just stay stuck in a comfortable spot and they're happy with that, and that's that, and some people stay stuck in a comfortable spot and they're not happy with that, but they stay stuck in that spot. And like, I think for you and I, it's like, we don't stay stuck in the comfortable. We want to like push the boundary. We want to be a little bit living in the uncomfortable zone, because we know that's where we grow. And through growth comes strength, and through strength it gives us the courage, gives us the space to be vulnerable, to help other people and to share, and really like hopefully inspire other people to give permission. It's like giving that permission slip to
Yes,
say
exactly.
you are allowed to like change the way you live, like you don't have to follow that societal structure. And
Exactly.
so yeah, that's really powerful. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's how, exactly like how I think there are three types of people. People that are actually comfortable in being so comfortable. Like they love it. They love to be in their bubble and they feel fine. And that's okay. And like you said, people who are in that bubble, but they know something is off, but it gets good every now and then. So they're like, okay, but my life is okay.
Mm.
They don't do anything about it because they're too weak or too scared or it's overwhelming for them to do anything, to do any change. And then there's people like us, which we know that we don't want to be here anymore, and that we actually take action to change that reality for us. Yeah,
Mm.
that's how I also feel.
Yeah, no, it's like it sort of goes to there was a thing that Jim Rohn said. He's like he's massively famous life coach and just general coach. He helped Tony Robbins and like a couple of other big coaches and stuff like that. But in a speech that he was giving, he asked a question. It was like, why would you why would you just be what you are when you could be all that you can be?
Mm-hmm.
Like basically it's saying, why are you staying in the comfort, like in that comfort zone, when you can be more,
Yes.
and then it comes down to a question of, is it something that I feel like I deserve more and so I'm going to pursue it, or maybe I don't feel like I deserve more and so this is all I deserve, like staying in that space, or and that just then becomes a self-love, self-worth sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. um but I really like that question, because it's like, why be just what you are when you could be all that you are? Like, why be just what you are if you could be all that I can be?
That's
And
right.
you go, oh man, like, yeah, if I wanted to be like a public speaker, I can be a public speaker. If I want to live overseas, I can live overseas. And just changing the mindset to a space of, oh, hang on, I don't have to stay here. I can choose somewhere else, and I think that's really cool. And you get these like new experiences from putting yourself in these other spaces. So
Yeah. And I
yeah.
think the more you do it, even with small things, the more you see that how true this is. Like, why stay the same if you can change? Like,
Mm,
if you're thinking about running a marathon, you can think about that for years, for months, and then you actually just do it one day, and you're like, oh, now I can be the person who runs a marathon. Like, those little things can give you such a perspective shift that it's crazy. And then you
mm,
can be anything. You realize that you can become anything. Like, just these limiting beliefs, oh, I can't be this person, oh, I can't do this. Like, why can't you do it?
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just like personality trait that we have, to think like that, because people don't think like that. People don't believe in themselves. But for me, I've always thought about death, my death, other
Mm,
people's death. And for me, it's really important what people are gonna be saying at my funeral.
Yeah.
I know this sounds crazy and weird, but I actually care about that
Mm.
because it's the reality, it's gonna happen. And that's like the most important thing in my life. Like, what are people gonna say about my life at my funeral? What do I want them to say? What do I want them to remember me from? For it's such a powerful motivator for me. But I just think like that. Nobody told me to think like that. I always think about death every
Yeah.
day. It's important.
Yeah. It's that, like, it's interesting because like your motivators, we're on the same path where we
Mhm.
want to help people, we want to inspire people, we want to show people there's like another way in life. It doesn't have to be like this thing that you wake up, you eat your breakfast, you go off to your 9 to 5, you come home and you watch TV, you go to bed and you do the same thing tomorrow. And then that week is the design of the next week, and that week is the design of the next, and then that forms a month, and then that just forms your next month, and all of those months form your next year. There's
Yeah.
some, it doesn't have to be like that,
No,
and
like you are very aware of that, right? And I'm also very aware of that. So the difference is just that my fear of regrets is bigger. It's much bigger than my fear of being discomfortable. Like
yeah,
that's the only difference between me and the people who don't do things that I do, because they are so afraid of discomfort that they don't care about regrets. They don't think about them. They're not aware of them. They don't like to think about death. They don't like to think about longer periods of time because they are more scared of like now. Okay, but I have to go out of my comfort zone now. I don't want to do that. Okay, I won't think about it. So that's the difference, I think.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting as well because it's like once you start, like, we're goal driven people, so we have our goals, and by having goals it means we're sort of like future vision people. But the way we're pursuing our goals is we're actually being more present in that moment because we're presently aware of what we want to be doing, what we want to be achieving, versus the people which are stuck in that space where they're just like they're comfortable. They worry more about the past and things that happened, and they do worry about the future, but they're not prepared to take those steps to like
Hmm.
go into that. And maybe it's not just that they're not prepared, it might just be that they don't have that guidance, or they don't have that, like, they don't even know. Some people just aren't aware that there's another way. Like it doesn't have to be like this, and it's not
Yes.
easy as well. Like it's hard. Like it's really difficult to like create your own life, but once you sort of start to crack those codes, it becomes easier. And also, like, you're able, like, if you're able to earn $1,000, $1,000 is enough money for you to fly somewhere else. And if you can earn $1,000 twice, now you can go somewhere else and have a experience somewhere else, and get yourself back,
Yeah.
um and just start like testing and pushing those sort of boundaries. So
Yeah.
um yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I want to show people. Like people don't need to have a terminal disease or death in family or something crazy happen to them to change their life. Like they don't have to have that. Why
Mm,
why would you always be looking for a reason to change? The
yeah.
reason can be just simple to change. That's it.
Yeah.
But people
Yeah.
are waiting for something to happen, or not waiting, but they only are forced to change where they need to change.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want in my life.
Yeah. And I think that definitely comes from like that comfortability zone. Like, you're so, like, when you live life, and for like 11 years I was working in finance, I was just doing the same thing. I was always like, oh, I want to travel to America, and oh, I can do that later. I can do that later. And then it's like, well, even now I still haven't gone. I know I want to go. I've got friends there now, and I'm like, hang on, why am I not like just doing that? Why am I not just booking those flights? Um, Going to England. Like, I went last year for the first time in 14 years, which is crazy. This is where I was born. It's where I grew up. It's where my family are. and I just didn't go for 14 years because I was like, oh, I can just do that next year, or I can do that. Like, I can do that. But yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you will. And if you always think that you can, one day that opportunity will get taken away, and then you just won't, and you'll be like, damn, you'll have that regret. And so
Yeah. That's why I like the bucket list and the deadline,
yeah,
because you say, why the deadline? Why do I need the deadline? Well, that's exactly the reason. If you're not limiting yourself, you're never gonna do it. Even if you think you're gonna do it, you're not gonna do it. You're just
yeah,
not gonna do it. It's not possible. So you have to corner yourself. You have to get that perspective of time is running out, because it is.
yeah. Yeah, and we just never know like when our last day is, and like if we like you said, if we're waiting for someone else or something else to happen in our life, which is like, oh man, there's really not that much time to then start living, you're probably already way behind the ball anyway. So yeah, I think I get this conversation is a giant call to action to everyone. That
I just
if you want to start like pushing the boundary and changing the way that you want to live, definitely like build a bucket list, build your goals, build your dreams, and start pursuing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I want to like touch on
Yeah,
like
of course. No, I
yeah,
just want to say, like, the what's the worst that can happen?
yeah,
The best that can happen is you actually achieve those goals, even if they suck. You at least know that you don't want them. And the worst case is like you don't do anything, which is also what you would do if you didn't write it out. So you have nothing to lose.
yeah, 100%. And that's like that's a really good way to put it, because like if you stay exactly as you are today and you don't make that choice, in 10 years time you're still going to be exactly where you are today, which if that's your comfort zone, that's great. Like if you're happy, you're comfortable, all good. But what if you stepped behind like this test, and there was a really good analogy last weekend. Again, it was like a conversation of a thousand doors. Behind one door is 1,000 doors. And basically the concept is, okay, if, for example, really good one was I joined the Fuck It Lister community, and through that I met you. I met a couple of other people as well, and through through other things that I did, I met Brad, and and through that I designed a tour, and then through that, I presented a tour, and then you came on, and you came and joined us in Morocco, and we had like a really cool experience. And then
Yeah.
because we had that cool experience together, behind that door was a couple of months later, we met up in Vietnam because we were there at the same time. And so if I didn't like join the Fuck It Lister community when I got to England, if I didn't build out my goals and build out my dreams, I never would have put on that first event, and I never would have asked you to go. You never would have gone, and then I never would have met you in Vietnam, and we wouldn't be having this conversation now. And
Yeah.
so like it is like, what is the worst that can happen? Like, the best that can happen is you can achieve everything you ever wanted. The
Yes.
worst that can happen is you might just be exactly where you are now. So yeah, absolutely jump. And yeah, going back into like travel stories, because just another moment is a little bit about like travel experiences and how that can shape you. And obviously you mentioned that you had 3 months off and you did travel and stuff like that, and it wasn't what you thought it would be, it wasn't what you expected. Has there been like any like standout travel experiences for you where you've gone, oh, this has like been really awful, this is like sucked, or this has been amazing, I'm so glad I did this? Like, and any story is like, welcome.
So in these 3 months, I actually didn't travel so much. I just traveled to Croatia and Morocco, but I did have other. I traveled quite a bit already, not a lot. I mean, for some people, a lot, but for
Yeah.
me, it's still like a huge list of travel things I want to do. But yeah, basically, in this whole year, I traveled to 5 different countries. Yeah, 5 different countries in this one year. So that was a huge thing. But I traveled before. I started when I was 2000, when I was 16 years old, 2016, when it was my first travel to Thailand with my mom and my sister. And then I did, when I was 18, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And 2022, I went to Thailand the second time, and I went to Morocco. And this year in October to Vietnam and Cambodia. So these are the countries I've been to outside of Europe.
Mm.
So what was the question? The
Oh, it's just like any like really like not so good travel experience, or like anything that you was like, oh, that was amazing, like yeah, and like and lessons as well. Like it doesn't even have to be a good or a bad experience. It's like what are the things that you've learned like on your travels?
um so nothing very awful happened. I was never robbed or anything. But my favorite one was the first one to Thailand because it was another world for me. It was so cool to see all the people and the food and the different smells, and I loved it from the very first start. I loved how much culture there is. And then Kilimanjaro was okay. Kilimanjaro or the Africa trip was kind of awful. I didn't like the. I didn't like Tanzania
Mm.
because it's very scary there. Like people are very scary. They're not as friendly as they are in Asia. The culture is different and everything, and they see all the white people as ATMs.
Yeah.
And they just think you have money and you can just give all the money to them, and it's a lot of pressure. So I felt quite unsafe in that country. But the Kilimanjaro trip was great. But I did say on the day that we climbed up, I did say that it was also the worst day of my life, the hardest thing I've done. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry, I am not weird. It was very difficult to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. But now that I did it, I'm super proud of it. And it's one of the coolest things I can say about my travels.
Yeah.
That
No,
was
it's
definitely a highlight.
yeah, to do that when you were 18. Like first of all, Tanzania, I agree with you. It's like it is quite a, you know, I never felt unsafe, but I definitely felt like, and this is me as a man as well.
Yeah,
So I completely understand. Like for women, it's very, very different. And as an 18-year-old, it's it's like crazy.
yeah,
Um,
crazy.
so I never really felt unsafe, but it definitely was like higher alert. You know, you had to have your wits about you a little bit, and obviously, you know, like it is. I think it's like the top 10 poorest country in the world. It's really like poverty sort of stricken, and so
Hmm.
people do want to like you know get as much as they can, you know, just to survive really. So, like understanding it from that perspective is quite important. um but yeah, I mean like you're paying like I was really surprised actually, like going to one of the poorest countries in the world, how it was like quite expensive, you know,
Yeah.
just
No,
being there. Like accommodation is like fairly cheap and stuff, but it can like it can add up and it can get really expensive there, versus like if you were in Vietnam or Thailand or something like that, like you know your money's going to just last and it's going to go so much further. But yeah, I mean like doing Kilimanjaro as an 18-year-old is crazy, and I'm glad to hear you finally say it was hard, because it was. So like it is actually like it's the
intense.
worst experience of your life, but at the same time the best. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to explain until you've done it. Yeah. So
I
no,
mean,
that's,
it was like I remember us climbing there, and I looked up, and I didn't. It was in the night, right? We woke
yeah,
up at midnight and started climbing, and I looked up, and I didn't know if I was seeing stars or I was seeing other people's headlights.
yeah,
I was like, "Is this the top of the mountain? Is it not?" I was.
yeah,
It was very difficult the last day.
yeah,
But obviously coming up was like, oh my gosh, I actually did it. And you see the sign and you remember that you were just like googling Kilimanjaro and you saw all the pictures with this sign, and now you're actually standing beside it, and you're the one taking the photos now, and it's like so awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really cool feeling.
It's such a challenge. Like, yeah, I remember, you know how like there's Stella Point before like Uhuru Peak, and I got to Stella Point, I like fell to my knees. I was like so exhausted, and I was like, "Oh, we've done it!" And I was like, a little tear came to my eyes, and then and then the guide was like, "Okay, all right, are you ready?" I was like, "Ready for what?" And he's like, "You've got another 40 minutes." So I was like, "You'll get out of here!" Like, no way. And because it was so cold, it was like
Yeah,
it was really cloudy, really
yeah,
windy.
you had worse weather.
It was terrible, and I was like, "You're joking!" And I was like a walking zombie. It was like, honestly, there's not many worse experiences I've had in my life, and I think I'm absolutely insane to go back. But at the same time, it's like it's something so like powerful to be like,
Um,
man, like how strong is my mind to be able to put myself there, and how strong is my body to get
yeah.
as well. And that combination was just so cool. And I was like, for me, it wasn't a dream that I ever had. When I went to Tanzania, I didn't even know Kilimanjaro was there. Like I was like, oh, I'll just go turn up. This is random road trip that I'll do. I knew Serengeti was there, so I was like, I'll go do that and do safari there. That'd be awesome. But I didn't know. It was only when I drove past Kilimanjaro and I asked, I was like, "What's that?" And they're like, "That's Mount Kilimanjaro." I was like, "What's
What's
that?"
this mountain? Oh, stupid tourist.
Yeah, and then like 3 weeks later, I'm climbing the thing, and it was what a crazy experience. But
Yeah, you're
yeah,
crazy.
but my thing
You
was always
had no preparation.
that so dumb. But yeah, my biggest thing with that was I never because it wasn't my dream. It was then became something that I was like, I want to be able to take someone with me to the top, like because it's going to be someone else's dream to get there, and if I can help facilitate that, that'd be unreal. So yeah,
And you know that feeling that mm, when you came to the Stella Point and then he said another 40 minutes. Like that mindset, when you know you have to push through because the goal is so close, but you're so tired, like 1% energy, but you still push through. Like that's the feeling I have to get into right now in my life.
yeah, that's
Like
so yeah,
actually,
that's so fun. Yeah, because it's like when you feel like you've given absolutely everything, like like
yes, you have.
absolutely, because you have, and you go, huh, I'm done, I'm there. And then they're like, no, now you got just another, it was only like another 500 meters or something, but because you're walking so slow,
Yeah,
it takes nearly an hour, and you go, oh man, and you don't know how you're going to do it, but all you know that you need to do is breathe
it's-
and put your
yeah.
left foot in front of your right and your right in front of your left. Um, and
And that's
it's
why I like physical challenges. Like they show you that you can do it,
yeah,
and that you can also do it with other goals in your life, which is
yeah,
so
absolutely.
powerful.
Yeah. And so it's just like reframing that mindset of going, I think I've done everything I can, and going, okay, but I've done everything I can, but I'm going to give like another 10%,
Yeah,
and it's like that plus, like the plus one theory, if you
yeah,
do, if you have a goal to do 10 like chin ups, do 11, do your 10, add one. And it's like
mhm,
it's a really cool thing. And I can't remember who like talks about that. It's on Jay Shetty's podcast. A really like a really good guest. I think it's Ed Milet. And I'll have to find it. But Ed Milet, I believe, is the one that's got like that plus one. So like do it plus one, and it's really really cool. So
mhm.
um so for you, like what's next? Like you've got your community, you're finishing uni in a couple of months. Like what's next for you? What is the thing that you want to like really be like, okay, cool, at the end of the year this is what I've been able to do? um yeah.
Hmm. So what's next for me in the next 2 months is to finish my school obligations or responsibilities, like all of them, like really finish it, and then I'm basically free of my uni. So I will close this chapter finally. After 7 years, I will close this chapter. This is one of the biggest things that's gonna happen. And then what's the plan is I'm probably gonna just keep working on my goals to become free, not financially yet, but to make my own business, to earn my own money so I can live independently. I'm gonna go to Estonia for the summer probably. Um, and then I don't know what's gonna happen. I think something huge. The plan is to create this movement where people see how bucket list can change their life, how like it's changing my life and other people's in the community. So I'm just gonna be part of this movement, and it's really exciting. I really want to be a part of that. I want to be a huge part of that. So um, that's kind of like the next thing for me. It's not something super personal, but it's the part of a very huge movement,
Yeah.
and I'm super excited for that.
Yeah.
And for the question, what would I like to be achieved this year?
Mm.
Is just to get to my goal. I have like a final boss contract with myself that I have to get to. So if I do that, actually, if I don't fail it, then I'll be winning. Like I would feel like the top of the world. Mm, yeah, more bucket list items checked off, helping other people do the same. I want to also grow my social media to, yeah, build my content around my life and inspire other people to do it. And all these things that we talked about to show them that it is possible to go after their goals, even if they don't have a tragedy happen to their life, and
Yeah.
it's worth it.
No, that's awesome. And it's such a, what I feel is like a really important thing that we're doing, and like I do mine slightly differently, and you do as well. But then like the end goal really is to help people ultimately achieve their goals, achieve their dreams, grow and become the best versions of themselves. And
Yeah.
such a valuable, so valuable. I mean, like for me, I've like completely changed my life by putting in like learning tools and resources, but also giving myself some goals to like move towards and like start pursuing, and and recognizing as well. Like for me, a big step was remove the expectation. Just go experience it, and if you learn something, you learn something. If you don't, you don't. If you feel great, you do. If you feel bad, that's how you feel, and it's okay. And so like for me, that's like a massive step and a massive thing. And like the biggest thing with this, actually having the goals and having like the structure around that, I believe is one thing that can help like change people's mental health, because now they're actually looking forward to something. And for you, just like to finish off, like how have you found with your mental health like a shift? Because you said that you were stuck, you were struggling for like 6 or so years. You might not have really felt like you were struggling with your mental health, but have you noticed like a shift with that for yourself, or have you like had experiences with like maybe a poorer mental health moving, and that now like a little bit different?
Yes, definitely. So I think before that year, I was kind of in a victim mentality mindset. Like everything is happening to me, and I have no control of doing anything about it. And now it's completely different. Now I understand that everything that happens in my life, it's my fault. All the people I attract, all the bad things that happen to me, all the worst days are my fault, and I can change that. But I have to be disciplined and accountable, and I have to keep my word. And now I have the systems, the tools that help me do that. And it just I'm just slowly rebuilding a very strong confidence in myself, which I see is like the most important thing you have. Because when everyone leaves, when you have nothing left, you have yourself. And that's really important for me, to be confident in myself, to feel independent. So for sure, it's a lot.
No, that's awesome. And I think like part of that is, you know, the confidence comes from knowing that you've put yourself through the test, and that's like building your resilience will result in a higher level of confidence. And now you go, you know what, I know I can do it because I've done this. And you're building a bank of like you're building a bank of like your own personal proof that you've been able to do hard things, and now you know that any hard thing that pops up you can do as well. Just wanted to ask as well, you said like you use the words everything that happens is my fault, you know, so obviously this is taking accountability, taking ownership for these things. But I did want to ask with that is, if you're looking at it from a perspective of this is my fault, like this happened and this is my fault, is there any guilt that you feel if you're putting blame on yourself for something for maybe not working out? Is there guilt that you feel with that, or is it like this is my fault and this is like the action that I'm going to take to get through? Because I feel like it's quite important to understand that within yourself as well.
I mean, it's very simple. Like if you have a goal that you want to achieve and you know what you have to do. Most people know, if they have a goal, they know what they have to do. And it's very simple. If you observe yourself from the point where you say, I want to achieve this goal, and then some time passes, and then you check in on yourself. Okay, did I do it? Do I have it? Did I become this person? Can I do this? And if the answer is no, then you have to look at this period and be like, but have I done the steps? Because people can be here and say like, I still don't have as many followers I want to have. I still have I'm still 20 pounds overweight. I still don't have good relationship with my boyfriend. I'm in this abusive relationship. Okay, but have you done anything to change that? And if the answer is no, then obviously it's your fault. So yes, you do feel guilt, but you know you can take control over it. And only when you go all in and you do the steps, do the things you said you were going to do because you know what you have to do, only then you can be like, okay, I gave all of it, all of the things that I have. And believe me, if you give all of the things, all of yourself, all of the capability you have, if you put into that goal, if you really focus, you're never going to feel guilty afterwards, even if you don't achieve it. Like it's completely different mindset you're going to be in. So the guilt is only when you know you didn't do the things you needed to do.
Yeah, that's good. And I think like what I was getting at with that is actually like with the guilt, some people feel guilt and it eats away at them, you know, and like it's a negative like sort of word, like I feel guilty for, but ultimately like where we're transitioning with this is it's more about the accountability, the ownership, the action taking, which will you know prevent that feeling of guilt. And if you don't take that, then there is guilt. And really like from that, it's about having compassion for yourself, having empathy for yourself, and understanding that you're still learning in that space, you're still growing in that space. Because like
I'm sorry, finish.
Yeah, so like one thing I've noticed more like recently is if you want to change, if you want to create real change or lasting change, you have to do that from a place of love. You can't do it from a place of guilt, because if you're doing it from a place of guilt, then you're bashing yourself, you're putting yourself down. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, blah blah blah. And so you go, you know, oh, I'm 10 pounds overweight, I need to lose weight, and I feel guilty that I'm not there. Of course, there's the accountability, there's the ownership for me, that I know what I need to do to get there. But if I'm trying to make that change from feeling guilty for myself, I won't make that change, and it won't last. But if I go, I would like to lose 10 pounds because I love myself, and I love myself so much, I want to be healthy and happy, and I'm going to do these steps. No longer am I making that change from a place of guilt. I'm doing it from a place of love for myself, which means that, hey, I love myself. Of course I'm going to do this. Of course I'm going to look after myself. And so I think this, it's important to have that distinction between, you know, is it a healthy guilt, or is it a guilt that could, you know, maybe influence you in the wrong way. And I think how you answered it was that, like, yeah, you might feel a bit guilty, but if you're doing it from that place of love, you're going to be like, well, I didn't do the steps, and these are the steps I need to do to get there. So yeah.
Of course, I mean, I agree. You have to be intentional about your goals. Like, of course, you have to do them from the place of love. Like all the challenges that I have on my bucket list or in my life, it's because of um the love for myself, I guess. Like I want to experience that. I want to become that. But the guilt can only come from not doing it, I think.
Mm.
Mm, I mean, I can't think of a goal where people would do the goal. I mean, of course, for they can do the goal from the place of hate for themselves. I don't know what that could be, but like maybe
As an example, it would be like, I hate the way I look. I feel fat. I'm
Mhm.
ugly. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
And I feel guilty. Like I feel guilty. I hate myself, and I need to lose weight. Versus, I need to lose weight because I love myself, and I want to be healthy, and I want to be happier for myself. And so, like, is it's the same goal. The same goal is to lose the weight. The same goal is to make the money. The same goal is to go on that trip. But I want to go on that trip because I absolutely love myself, and I think I deserve giving myself the best experience. Or I'm going on this trip because I hate where I am and I hate who I am. And I feel like if I go on this trip, I'm going to change. And so, like, it's
just
two,
framing it, rewording it. That's
yeah,
very important. Of course, you have to know why you're doing it, and it should be from the place of love. That's for sure. I agree.
yeah.
Mm,
It's interesting, isn't it? It's like the way we can talk to ourselves really influences the outcome. You know,
yes.
by being able to like reframe certain things will like really help us in that pursuit and in that journey. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just a good outlook to have for sure. I can say I have to build this business for myself because my life sucks and I hate it, and I feel so guilty that I live this life that I don't want to live. Or I can say, yes, but you have to do it also because that means freedom for you. That means possibilities for you. Of course, like reframing it, it's very important. Um, but if I don't do it, isn't that more of a hate for myself? Like if I don't do it, I'm gonna be stuck in something that I absolutely hate. My life will be miserable. That's bigger hate for me, for myself. So, and also
Yeah.
with like losing weight, of course you have to have the mindset, I want to be healthy. That's why I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna try to lose weight because the more like if you don't lose the weight, you're you're gonna really hate yourself.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hate yourself because you say you have to work out every day and eat healthy. You're not gonna hate yourself for that. You're gonna hate for yourself if you're not gonna do those things, because you're
Mm.
gonna keep being unhealthy and something else will happen. So,
Yeah.
but it's really cool that you emphasize that it's important to have a positive outlook on that for sure.
Yeah. It's so important. And it like just like final thing to wrap up is, the there's this thing, it's like, what is good for you isn't easy. Like, what is good for you is actually really hard,
Yes.
because your brain automatically defaults to you doing like the easy thing, and what is easy isn't like isn't nice, you know, like what's easy for you isn't good for you, you know,
Yeah.
like what's easy for me is to turn the TV on, sit back, kick back, and not do anything. But what is actually good for me is reading a book, which takes more effort because I actually have to like do something. I have to like use my head to process. And so, but by reading the books, it's going to help educate me. It's going to help me grow. It's going to help me get to where I want to be. But if I sit back and just watch TV, the easy thing to do is not necessarily good. And the same thing is applied. It's like, is it easy to like put your shoes on and go for a run? Like for some people, yeah, but like it's not. It's like it's not as easy as sitting on the couch. You know,
Yes.
it's not as like I could run to the gym or I could drive my car to the gym. What's better for me? The better thing for me is running to the gym. The easy thing is driving to the gym. You know,
Yeah.
and so there's that like a really like interesting contrast. Like what is good for me isn't easy, and what is easy isn't good for me.
I
And
love
I
that.
think yeah, I always like stick with that for myself because I go, okay, it's not easy, but if it's not easy, it's probably good for me, you know,
Hmm. That's
because
such a
it's
cool thing.
growth. So yeah, well, I just want to say thank you so much. It's been like an absolute pleasure to have you on for the podcast and to you know get your insights, learn a little bit from you, and yeah, just have like a really awesome like conversation. To finalize everything, I guess is I would love you to share like your Instagram, like your community, like anything that you want to promote. Now is your chance, and yeah, just share away, and yeah, that's everything for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was very nice catching up with you. And I know that we're gonna see each other probably again. Um, I love you as a person. You're so funny. I love talking to you. You also have amazing insights, and I love that you have the same perspective on life as me. And talking to people like that is always very fun for me, and I love those conversations. So this whole podcast was a pleasure for me too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Um, but for my contact or the most things I do is on Instagram. So my Instagram is Good Life Stories, and I also made my own podcast. It's on my YouTube, so you can go check that out as well. And I have all the links on my Instagram, so that would probably be the best thing to start. You can also find the link to my community there on school, so everything is there, and I'm there. My whole story, my whole personality is there.
Amazing. I love it. And just to wrap up, because one funny, one funny thing just literally just remembered was in Vietnam when we were playing Jenga, and
Yeah.
we I don't know how many games we played, but it was always that like pivotal moment, and it would like get to me, and I was like heart beating, and then it would. And then it would, yeah, then it would get to you, and you'll be like, "I've got this," and then you knocked it down, not
No,
just once, but twice. Every single time you were the one that killed it.
yeah, I hate Jenga because I'm not good at it.
So funny. But yeah, it's just one of those like yeah funny stories I really enjoyed. But I've loved getting to know you online first, obviously, and then meeting you in Morocco for the first time and going on that like amazing adventure
Yeah.
together. And then obviously, you know, like months later, Vietnam, and I have a feeling the next time potentially could be Estonia. Like that's on my
Yeah,
list to get to. I was speaking to Jay yesterday, and yeah, we're gonna see if we
yeah,
can get.
come, come to co-living. That
Yeah,
would be so
well,
awesome.
yeah, it would be cool to come back. So yeah, I've never been to Estonia. It'd be really cool to meet a whole bunch of the team and yeah, catch up with you again there. So yeah,
And you
but
know how we're gonna meet there? I'm gonna be walking on the street, and you're gonna be walking on the street, and then we're gonna meet. Because
but
that's
like
what happened in Morocco. I was I was getting off the taxi, and I didn't know where you guys were because this hostel was like in the middle of
it
nowhere.
was
the
Bad
maps
place.
were not working. And I just started walking, and then I saw you two, and I was like, oh, thank God.
It was like, yeah, I know, how crazy, hey? Like, yeah, it's wild. Because yeah, in Vietnam, what was I doing? I was like just walking, hey, and I saw you.
You were walking your two friends to
And that's
the airport or something,
Yeah,
and
it's the
I was
bus.
there with my sister with like backpacks and trying to find again your hostel. And then we just met on the street, and oh, hey, here you are.
I was like, I'll be with you in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. No, crazy. Well, yeah, it will be. We'll just be walking down the street and be like, oh shit, there we are.
I'll be running and you'll be walking. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't running nowhere. Not yet.
I really hope you come to Estonia. Yes, that would
Yeah.
be so awesome.
No, I'm definitely looking at it. You know, it's obviously like for the summer days and stuff like that. So that'll be like July, August.
Perfect.
And yeah, hopefully I just need to sort out a couple of things on my end over here, and then yeah, hopefully I'll be able to come back, which would be awesome.
Awesome. Or otherwise in Australia, I'm coming there as well for sure.
Yeah.
Aussie
Well,
country.
yeah, we can go on some easier hikes.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know I'm just gonna say see you later because
Yeah.
I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, of course. Well, awesome. I will, with that then, see you later.
See you later.
Hi guys, I hope you are enjoying the Just Another Moment podcast. I take great pleasure in meeting new people, sharing their stories, and also spreading the message of Just Another Moment, which is all about helping people overcome their mental health challenges through adventure, community, and education. If you are struggling with anything and you want to have a chat, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at just.anothermoment. I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you. If you are enjoying these episodes and you feel like they could help someone else, or it would just be a good insight for someone to listen to, please share it with them. And finally, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow this podcast for all of the new updates. These episodes will be downloaded or uploaded, on a weekly basis from now on. So I'm really looking forward to delivering amazing podcasts for all of you to enjoy for the future. Take care, and I will see you on the next episode.